Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we are going to discuss the last three picks by the Las Vegas Raiders. At pick number 213, Tommy Mellott. Reminder, the Raiders listed him as a wide receiver. If you've ever heard of the name of Julian Edelman, I want you to keep Tommy Mellott's name in mind. I'll break down each one of these players. Cam Miller, 215, quarterback, North Dakota State, and then Cody Lindenberg, linebacker from Minnesota. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to break down every single one of these players, and then we're going to break down where the fit is overall for the silver and black. Let's first talk about Tommy Mellott. You probably said, well, wait a minute, Mitch. I thought you said he was a wide receiver. One of the players that we were talking about on live, we actually got a super chat about him and said, what about Mr. Mellott? 31 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, was the Heisman Trophy winner for the FCS level. I also had a lot of people tell me they kind of remind them of like a more athletic Johnny Manziel in the FCS region. Now, Tom doesn't have him ranked as a wide receiver, but projected player with the shiftiness and speed to contribute at a skill position, might even have some return value in the NFL. Now, one of the things that I want to read here, and I want you to listen very, very carefully, because Tommy Mellott, from an athletic standpoint, I want you to think of the term RAS, R-A-S. It evaluates overall athletes. At the wide receiver position, Mellott ranked in the 96th percentile of RAS, a 9.69 score. On NFL.com, his NFL comp is Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman also was a quarterback in college that they ended up converting to wide receiver because people were like, well, this guy's an incredible athlete. So you're telling me at pick 213, the Raiders look at somebody that's being comped out there to Julian Edelman, and Tom Brady's not going to be a little bit interested in that? I think also that this team really just values dudes that love to go out there and compete. And Mellott was in the national championship game for FCS. It was, here's what's fun, Montana State. And Montana State ended up playing North Dakota State. The quarterback that Tommy Mellott played in the FCS championship game was, in fact, Cam Miller. What's funny about this is the Raiders had a top 30 visit with Miller. They did not have a top 30 visit with Mr. Mellott. 33 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for Cam Miller. But I'll tell you this, not really somebody that I would say is going to be a good quarterback probably in the NFL rankings, but he gives you a lot of starter mentality. And if you're looking to go out there and compete, I think Cam Miller and Aiden O'Connell is a good enough quarterback room where you don't have to trade away AOC. You don't have to trade away anybody. You keep Cam Miller, you let him compete against Aiden, and for somebody that is at the FCS level that doesn't have, some of the attributes that you see in an NFL quarterback, but somebody that's going to go out there and somebody that's going to compete. That's the key word here. Tommy Mellott and Cam Miller were brought onto this roster to go out there and compete, and I think Miller is going to do that with Aiden O'Connell. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say on Miller. Miller won't wow you right away because the physical traits are average. The more you watch, the more you can come to appreciate his decision-making and feel for the position. He can be an asset in a NFL quarterback room as a reserve. And when you're making picks this late in the draft, you're not always going to go out there and you're not going to find starters. But when you can find solid depth players, I do think that has a lot of value. I will admit, this is bad news for Carter Bradley. I would say that you're going to roll in with the Raiders quarterback room of it being Geno Smith, Aiden O'Connell, and then out there in Cam Miller. Even though I had Miller on my quarterback rankings in terms of the guys most likely that the Raiders could draft, I'm still surprised that it's Miller. They actually took Miller over Quinn Ewers, which still surprises me. But I think it's, again, they did a lot of homework on Ewers, so they really wanted somebody that they were going to be able to go out and find that could really compete at the quarterback position. And that's what they got there in Cam Miller. The other player that they went out and drafted was Cody Lindenberg, linebacker from Minnesota. And 94 tackles, 5 tackles for loss and a sack, 6'2", 236-pounder. One of my fun notes that I'm seeing here on Lindenberg is a big-time player in terms of just a lot of experience. Tom has him ranked as the 18th linebacker, 242 overall. Solid athlete, sideline-to-sideline range and closing speed. Productive player when healthy, but he has had some injuries. He had a sports hernia in 2014. He also had an injury in 2021. But For the Raiders, you get somebody that I think is just going to be a good football player. Dane Brugler says Lindenberg has throwback size and rallies well to the football, but he doesn't consistently stay ahead of plays and ends up stuck. An issue that will lead to less production in the NFL than it did in college. He projects as a backup with some special teams tools. Overall, for Cody Lindenberg, he's played 243 special team snaps. So when you see that and you're getting a guy late, it's good to be able to get some value in terms of special teams. Good in the run support. Probably my favorite note, though, on Lindenberg, and I think a lot of Raiders fans are going to appreciate this last note. He was the green dot at Minnesota. I'm not saying he's going to be a green dot, but I do think there comes with another level of appreciation when you're given a green dot responsibility. And if you want to have a really good player in your locker room and you lose your green dot in Robert Spillane, I think you want to be able to find more players that have that green dot mentality. And I'll be honest, I think Landon Roberts is almost a lock to be the green dot linebacker for the Raiders. And if you don't know what the green dot term means, look for the player on defense or any team. They got literally a green dot on their helmet, and they're the one that's communicating with Patrick Graham or whoever the defensive coordinator is for the entire season, whoever's communicating with the player at that time. But that comes with a lot of responsibility, and those type of players are very well respected, and that's why Lindenberg is the pick that they ended up going with. So what do y'all think? Do you like the move so far that the Raiders have made? My question to you is this. Out of the 3 picks that we broke down on this stream, Tommy Mellott, Cam Miller, or Lindenberg, which one of those picks is your favorite? To me, my favorite pick out of those 3, I think it's Mellott. And I only say that because it intrigues me. Though, I do think Mellott is bad news for one guy. I think Cam Miller is bad news for a guy. And I think Lindenberg is bad news for a guy. I'm going to tell you who those 3 players are here in just a moment. Before I get into that, though, today's show is sponsored by Mando. You can control body odor wear anywhere with Mando. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code chat at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. I like using Mando because I sweat literally all the time, and because it's a full body deodorant, I can take it with me on the go. I can use it on my pits, my package, my balls, my grundle, my butt crack, stinky crevices, stomach folds, my feet. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. Also, as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with some Amando. So, with this pick that the Raiders went with, they went with all 3. They had their 2 more 6 at 213, 215. And at 222, to me, Tommy Mellott is bad news for Trey Tucker. I'm not going to lie to you. And I only say that because with it being a brand new regime, I knew that Tucker was going to have some more special teams opportunities in the kick return game and in the punt return game. But let's face it, they went out and they got Jack Bech. Jack Bech is the wide receiver 2. Trey Tucker then in that moment, I believe, gets converted to the wide receiver 3. Then the Raiders go out and they get Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver from Tennessee, who is a big-time field stretcher, which I think that also takes away something that you were going to be able to provide with Trey Tucker. And now you go out and you get Tommy Mellott at wide receiver, and I get it, he can also play a little bit of quarterback, but Mellott also provides you with some special teams ability because of his athletic ability. Trey Tucker's got to be looking at this draft going, what the hell just happened? I think that's got to be a loser. And we'll talk about winners and losers probably on Monday or Tuesday coming up on the Raiders Report, which will be live for at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. For Cam Miller, I would say this is going to be the guy that's going to go out there and compete with Aiden O'Connell. But I would say it's really bad news for Carter Bradley, a UDFA quarterback that was trying to go out there and he's trying to compete. Cam Miller is going to take that job away. And if they also keep Aiden O'Connell, then there's no reason to keep another quarterback in Bradley. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I personally wouldn't keep another QB because I would go, if I need an emergency quarterback, I believe their emergency quarterback now would be Tommy Mellott. So to me, Carter Bradley, hasta la vista, baby. And then the last one, Cody Lindenberg. Cody Lindenberg, green dot. I'm sorry, but this almost seems like a bit of a replacement for Tommy Eichenberg. And Eichenberg was a green dot linebacker at Ohio State. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. Maybe I'm right. I know Chip Kelly was Ohio State, but there's no overlap there. Two totally different regimes. I think this is bad news, though, for Eichenberg personally. Maybe I'm overreading it, but to me, Amari Bernie's got to be looking and saying, what the heck's going to happen? Amari Gaynor adds a little bit more competition to that room as well. But Lindenberg, I would say, is bad news for Tommy Eichenberg. So out of the 3 picks that were just made, to me, the biggest losers in that equation. Trey Tucker's got to be considered a loser there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're keeping him and they just want to be able to have more talented players. But again, I try to give my honest opinion. And then Carter Bradley and then Tommy Eichenberg, I would say, is a little bit of an issue. So here we go. The Raiders 2025 NFL Draft is in the books. Ashton Jeany at pick number 6. Jack Bech at 58. Darien Porter, 68. Caleb Rogers, 98. Charles Grant at 99. Dante Thornton Jr. at 108. Tonka Hemingway at 135. J.J. Geese at 180. Tommy Mellott, wide receiver quarterback, Cam Miller, and then Cody Lindenberg. Once the live show is done, I will do a full draft breakdown, giving you guys some grades and just my overall grade, because I've seen some people say, Mitch, how would you grade it? I'm going to wait. I'm going to tell you guys my honest thoughts in a video as soon as this live show is done today. I would guess it's probably out in, 90 minutes from now or something like that. But also make sure you're subscribed, because I'm also going to give you guys a video. It might be tonight. It also might be tomorrow. I want to say that we can sign 10. I think it's 10 UDFAs. It might be 11. I'd have to go back and look at the math exactly on how it ends up unfolding. It might even be more than that because the Raiders cut 6 players. But the other videos you will get before or in the next 24 hours, Raiders draft grades and UDFAs that the Raiders ended up signing. That's why you subscribe. That's why your notifications are turned on. And if you're not watching this live, we're about to give away some Ashton Jeany jerseys, and we're about to give away close to over $1,000. Actually, probably by the time you watch, it's going to be over $1,000 on the Raiders Report.